I'll just do a very short introduction. So good Shabbos, everyone. I'd like to welcome everyone. I'd like to welcome new people to our show tonight and regulars as well. And tonight is a very auspicious night because this is the first formal service that Cantor Hazzan Jonathan Angress is going to be offering for us this evening. And so without any further ado, I do want to mention one thing. This process, as you've heard many times over, was a long and arduous process, narrowing it down to absolutely the best candidate of many, many that offered their services to our show. So without any further ado, I'm going to introduce the Cantor Angress for a few words.
Okay, thank you, Harvey, and Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I have planned to speak a little bit throughout the service, and so that will happen a little bit later on. I would like to invite everyone to please take your Siddur, and let us begin this evening in welcoming Shabbat by singing together Shalom Aleichem on the bottom of page 5. Again, bottom of page 5. Please sing along. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem leshalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon, mi melech, malachei hamalachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Barchuni leshalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon, mi melech, malachei hamalachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Seitechem leshalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon, mi melech, malachei hamalachim, hakadosh baruch hu. A young Jewish man recently gets engaged to a lovely young Jewish woman. And after they get engaged, he decides he wants to introduce his new fiancée to his elderly Jewish bubby, his grandmother. So he calls his grandmother and says, "Bubby, I'm going to come over to see you and introduce you to my fiancée." And his bubby says, "Well, let me give you instructions on how to get to my apartment. First, when you come to the front of my building, you will need to use your elbow and hit the button on the intercom for apartment 13B. And when you hit the button with your elbow, I will buzz you in and let you in. Then you go down the hallway to the elevator, and again, you use your elbow to hit the button for the elevator for apartment 13B, the 13th floor. After you get off the elevator, come to my apartment, use your elbow one more time and hit the button for the doorbell, and I will come and answer the door." Does that sound clear? And he says, "Yes, Bubby, but I don't understand one thing. Why is it that I have to use my elbow to hit the button?" And his bubby says, "What, you think you're going to come empty-handed?" Throughout the entire week, as we lead up to Shabbat, we often feel empty-handed. And then we come to shul, and we sing together, we learn together, we pray together. And as we enter Shabbat, we are no longer empty-handed. So let's turn to page 11 and sing together Lechu Meranena. Lechuneranena, lechuneranena, lechuneranena l'Adonai. Lechuneranena, lechuneranena, lechuneranena l'Adonai. Naria, naria, letsuri, shenu nekadma fanav betoda. Naria, naria, letsuri, shenu. Bismirot narialo, lechuneranena, lechuneranena, lechuneranena l'Adonai, lechuneranena, lechuneranena, lechuneranena l'Adonai. The heavens shall be glad and the earth rejoice, the sea in its fullness roar. The meadows and all that grows in them exult, even the trees of the forest shall sing praise as Adonai comes to judge the earth, judging lands with righteousness and people with divine truth. Bottom of page 14, please join me. Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Yiram hayam, yiram hayam, yiram hayam, umlo, yiram hayam, yiram hayam, yiram hayam, umlo. When I first started my career, within the first couple of months of being a cantor full-time, I was in a pulpit in Florida where my grandparents belonged. It was their shul. And Friday nights, I used to sing a very old-fashioned version of a prayer that we will do later on, Hashkivenu, which was one of my favorites. I grew up singing that tune. And a congregant came to me and said, "Cantor, I love your service, but why is it you don't do the traditional Hashkivenu?" And I said, "Well, which one is the traditional Hashkivenu?" And she sings it to me, and it turns out to be a tune written by Craig Taubman in 1985. Some of you may know who Craig Taubman is, very famous Jewish singer and songwriter and composer. He's based out of Los Angeles and came to prominence through Sinai Temple in LA. And so the tune that we will sing for Romemu tonight, page 20, is also written by Craig Taubman. I'm sure everybody knows it or hopefully knows it. Please sing along if you can. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu vehishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu vehishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu vehishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu vehishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. We will now turn to page 21 for Mizmor LeDavid, Psalm 29. I invite everyone to please rise as we sing together Psalm 29. Mizmor LeDavid, Havu l'Adonai b'nei Elim, Havu l'Adonai kavod va'oz, Havu l'Adonai kevod shemo, Ishtachavu l'Adonai behadrat kodesh. Kol Adonai al hamayim, אל הכבוד הרים אדוני על מים רבים. כל אדוני בכוח, כל אדוני בהדר, כל אדוני שובר הרזים, וישבר אדוני את ארזי הלבנון. וירקידם כמו עגל לבנון וסיריון כמו בן רעמים. כל אדוני חוצב להבות אש, כל אדוני יכיל מדבר, יכיל אדוני מדבר קדש. כל אדוני יכול אל איילות, ויחשוף יערות, ובהיכלו כולו אומר כבוד. אדוני למבול ישב, וישב אדוני מלך לעולם. אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום. You may be seated. We will continue now with Lecha Dodi, pages 23 through 25. Lecha Dodi is the centralized prayer on Friday nights. It is when we sing Lecha Dodi, and particularly when we sing the end of Lecha Dodi, Boi V'Shalom, that's when we rise and we face the entrance of the room that we're in. There are a couple of options. We can face that entrance, we can face the back, whichever one you would like to do. And that's when we welcome the Shabbat bride, the Shabbat queen. It is in that moment when Shabbat actually starts for all of us as a community. So as we sing Lecha Dodi, we will do the first two stanzas on page 23. We will do the middle stanza on page 24. And then after that, we will all rise and welcome the Shabbat bride on the bottom of page 25. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'diburecha, hishmi anu el hamiyuchad Adonai echad. Ushemo echad l'shem multiferet ve'litila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelecha, ki mekor haberacha merosh mikedem nesucha. Sof ma'aseh b'machshava techila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Middle of page 24. Hit oreri kiva orech, kumi uri shir daberi kevod Adonai. Laich nigla. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Please rise and face the entrance to welcome the Shabbat bride. Boi v'shalom, ateret bala, gam besimcha, uv'tzolato chemunei. Am segula, boi chala, lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. I lie, 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 la lie, la lie, la la lie, 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 la lie, 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 yeah, lie, 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 lie. You may be seated. Now that we have officially welcomed Shabbat and brought Shabbat in, we will turn to page 27 and we will recite the beginning and then the end of Psalm 92, the Psalm for Shabbat. Mizmor shir leyom HaShabbat, tov lehodot la'Adonai, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות, עלי עשור ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון בכינור, מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. Middle of page 28, where the little arrow is pointing inward. Tzadik katamar yifrach ke'erez balevanon iske shetulim beveit Adonai Bechatzerot Eloheinu Yaferichu Od Yenuvun Beseva Deshenim Derananim Iyu Lehagid Ki Ashar Adonai Tsuri, Tsuri, Velo Avalatabo. And at this moment, I would like to invite those who are observing a yurtzeit, remembering a loved one who is no longer with us, or in mourning, to please rise, and we will recite together the Mourner's Kaddish on page 30. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei rabah be'alma divarach yirutei ve'amlich malchutei b'chayechon v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Israel ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shemei rabah mevarach le'alam olalmei almaya. Yit barach v'yishtabach v'yit pa'ar v'yit romam v'yit naseh. V'yit hadar, v'yit aleh, v'yit halal, shemei dekudesha barichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehi shalom rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom mimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. You may be seated. Before we continue with the Mariv service, I want to take the opportunity to give a few words of thanks and reflection after completing my first week here at CBI. As I am sure all of us can imagine, relocating to a new place, especially one that is out of state, is never easy. In the past few weeks, I have driven the 14-hour round trip between Albuquerque and Phoenix more than once. And while the trip is quite grueling, I wouldn't trade it for anything else if it means I get to be here with you at CBI. Starting on my first day, I hit the ground running after meeting with our wonderful religious school director, Sarah Egelman. We are both on the same page when it comes to Jewish education and engagement of our youth, and I am excited to work together with Sarah to become ingrained in our youth here at CBI. I also had great conversations with our ritual committee chairperson, Jonas Actor, as well as attended my first ritual committee meeting as spiritual leader of CBI. I am looking forward to the continued relationship between myself and the ritual committee and working together to make our services and ritual at CBI as dynamic as possible. All of you should have received last week's e-blast, in which was a welcome and thank you message from me. I would like to now, in person, thank those who were involved in making this opportunity of being your spiritual leader possible for me and my family. First, I would like to once again thank the leaders of the search committee, Ellen Satz, Ellen Finston, and Esther Tenenbaum. In my entire career, I have never experienced such an easy and warm-hearted interview process as I did here at CBI. And it is all because of you, your leadership, and the members of your committee. You truly exemplify how a shul should interact with the community. Second, I would like to thank our president, Harvey Buchalter, for not only being a plethora of information about the shul and the community, but for also guiding me towards success, not just during my interview, but throughout my transition into the position and onwards. I am looking forward to continuing our friendship, and I am hopeful that I will be a decent Yiddish speaker by the end of your presidency. And of course, last but certainly not least, I must thank everyone in the CBI community, all of you. I know that the search for a new spiritual leader was not easy, and it ultimately boiled down to the congregation itself choosing its new leader. You chose me. And for that, me and my family are eternally grateful. As I said the last time I stood on this bima, let us be spiritual partners together, hand in hand, fulfilling the core values of our people, kindness and love. And let us start doing that by allowing me and my family to say, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you. Toda Rabbah. Shabbat Shalom. And we will continue now with the Mariv service. And I invite everyone to turn to page 39A and to rise for the call to worship, the call to prayer, the Baruch. Lai 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 la 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 Amen. La 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 la. You may be seated. Please join me on the English side of 39a, and let's read together in English. Baruch atah Adonai, our God, sovereign of time and space, whose word brings the evening dusk, whose wisdom opens the gates of dawn, whose understanding changes the day's division, whose will sets the succession of seasons and arranges the stars in their places in the sky, who creates day and night, who rolls light before darkness and darkness from light, who makes day pass into night, who distinguishes day from night. Adonai Tsevaot is your name, living and ever-present God. May your rule be with us forever and ever. Baruch atah Adonai, who brings each evening's dusk. Umavir yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uvein laila, Adonai Tsevaot shemo, El chai v'kayam, tamidim lo chaleinu leolam vaed. Baruch atah Adonai, Hamariv Aravim. Page 40. Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael, Amecha avta. Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, b'shokveinu u'v'kumeinu, nasiach bechukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, u'v'mitzvotecha, le'olam vaed. Ki hem chayenu be'orech yameinu, be'orech yameinu, uvahem nege yomam v'layla, yomam v'layla. Ve'avatecha al tasir mimenu le'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, bechol levavecha, uvechol nafshecha, uvechol meodecha, vehayu hadivarim haele, asher anochi metzavacha, hayom al levavecha, veshinantam levanecha, vedibarta bam, veshivtecha beveitecha, uvelechtecha vaderech, uveshochbecha uvkumecha, ukshartam leot al yadecha, vehayu letotafot bein einecha, uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uvisharecha. We'll continue silently, top of page 42. Bottom of page 42. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe lemor, daber el bnei Israel ve'amarta alehem ve'asu lahem tzitzit al kanfei vigdeihem ledorotam ve'natenu al tzitzit hakanaf betil techelet ve'haya lachem letzitzit Uritem oto, uzkartem et kol mitzvot Adonai, va'asitem otam, ולא תטורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם, אשר אתם זונים אחריהם, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם, אמת. Page 43A. אמת ואמונה כל זאת בקיים עלינו, כי הוא אדוני אלוהינו ואין זולתו, ואנחנו ישראל עמו. Top of page 44. ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה ומרים ובני ישראל לחנו שירה בשמחה רבה, ואמרו כולם, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף לב. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקי הים לפני משה, זה אלי אנו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר, כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. Hashkivenu, page 45. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom. Ve'amidenu malkeinu lechaim lechaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shalomecha. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom. Allow us, Adonai our God, to sleep peacefully. Awaken us to life, O Sovereign. Spread over us your canopy of peace. Restore us with your good counsel, and save us for the sake of your name. Shield us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, for you, God, watch over and deliver us. And you, God, are sovereign, merciful, and compassionate. Ensure our going and coming for life and peace now and forever. May you spread over us your canopy of peace. Baruch atah Adonai, who spreads the canopy of peace over us, over all the people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Ushmor tzeiteinu vo'einu l'chaim l'shalom me'ata ve'ad olam ufros aleinu sukat shalomecha baruch atah Adonai haporei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. We will now turn to page 46, and we will continue with Vishamru and Chatzi Kadesh. Please rise. Veshamru Bnei Israel et HaShabbat la'asot את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברך ירותי בהמליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי כל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב אמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבם מברך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן בעלמא ואמרו amen. And we will continue now with the private Amidah, the private silent meditation, starting on page 47 and concluding on page 52. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amecha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amecha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amecha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amecha tasim leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et amecha Yisrael bechol eit uvechol sha'a bishlomecha. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amecha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amecha tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. We will continue now, middle of page 54, with the full Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash merabam. Be'almadi v'rach yirutei ve'amlich malchutei v'chayechonu v'yomechonu uv'chayei lechol Beit Israel v'agalav v'zman karim v'yimeru. Amen. Yehei shemei rabba mevarach le'alam le'al me'al maya yitbarach yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal shmei l'kudesha b'richu le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tush bechata v'nechamata damiran be'alma v'yimeru. Amen. Titkabal salot ahon v'aton dechol Yisrael kodam avahon divishmaya v'yimeru. Amen. Yehi shlam rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru. Amen. Oseh shalom imromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru. Amen. At this moment, we are going to make Kiddush for Friday night. And so I know we have some wine and grape juice here to pass out. And then I would like to invite all those who are under the age of 18 to come and join me on the bima, please, for Kiddush and the end of the service. And for those who haven't met him yet, our bartender for this evening is actually my 17-year-old son, Noah. Page 55. Savrim Aran v'Rabbanan v'Rabbotai, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon inchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh, zecher litziat Mitzrayim, כי הבנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. We will continue with Aleinu, page 56. Aleinu לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובהי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס עולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבותה אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד. על כן נקבל לך אדוני אלוהינו. ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו echad. At this moment, we would like to remember those who are no longer with us in our community. This Shabbat, we remember Bonnie Victor Fried, Jerome Edward Kaufman, Asher Mayo, Sarah Epstein, David Katz, Hein Lamb, Max Sinowitz, Sarah Nechamkin, and Ray Thompson. And if there are any other Yurtzites, anybody else you are remembering the Shabbat, please take a moment to remember them in your mind and in your heart. We will continue with Mourner's Kaddish, page 58. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma Divarach Hirutei ve'amlich Malchutei, B'chayechon v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol Beit Israel, Ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah mevarach le'alam olalme almaya. Yitbarach ve'yishtabach ve'yitpa'ar ve'yitromam ve'yitnaseh ve'yithadar ve'yitale ve'yithalal Shemei dekudesha b'richu le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Do we have announcements? You may be seated.
I must say that as soon as you started, Hazzan Angress, you kind of filled an empty spot in my soul. I can't quite explain it, but it did happen. So, a week from this Sunday, which is November 13th, there are actually 3 things going on at the show, and they will undoubtedly kind of run into each other a bit, but that's okay, because it's good. So the first thing is the Men's Club breakfast honoring veterans, and that is going to start at 9 a.m. Then we have a program that's going to combine senior citizens and students from the religious school. And this is a together intergenerational event, as CBI senior citizens are invited to attend an event with, it's called Better Together. And this one is going to be talking about the Ethiopian Jewish holiday of Sigid, S-I-G-D. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing it, but that's what it is, Sigid. If somebody would like to correct my pronunciation, that would be great. And what's going to happen is that people who are senior citizens in the congregation are going to get together with religious school students, and they're going to cook together to make some delicious berbere, which is a spice blend. And so if you need some more information about it, I would suggest that you contact Sarah at the religious school, and she'll be able to fill you in. And there will also be an announcement on the e-blast as well, and you'll be able to do that. And it's going to be a very kind of interesting event for everyone who attends. So we're kind of leaving out the people in the middle, aren't we? That's okay. But you'll have your chance, because the third event is going to start at 11:30, and that is the Bnai Israel Sisterhood Game Day, sponsored by the Sisterhood. And this is going to be an afternoon of fun, cards on hand for bridge, canasta, gin rummy, other games. You can bring your own mahjong sets, chess, checkers, other board games, Monopoly, Scrabble, whatever. Light refreshments will be served, and please call or contact Vicky Camerlingo so we can set up the right number of tables. So that's somebody else you need to contact for a week from this Sunday. 3 things going on. We have the Veterans Day breakfast, number 1 at 9 o'clock. Number 2, the Getting Better Together, celebrating Jewish Ethiopian customs, and that again starts at 10. And then 11:30 is the Bnai Israel Game Day, sponsored by the Sisterhood. Anything else? I think I got it all. Everything's in one day, so come prepared. And then Friday night is what? Yes, I knew there was something. Religious School Shabbat, thank you. The Religious School Shabbat next Friday night at 6 o'clock. And we're coming back to that after a long, long period of not having done it. So please, that's next Friday at 6 o'clock. So you have your homework all set out for you. There's 3 things next Sunday and 1 thing next Friday. Good Shabbos. Oh, one more thing. We'll see you downstairs for our oneg, sponsored by the Kiddush Fund.
I would also like to add that next Shabbat, in the morning, it's that weekend is the anniversary of Kristallnacht. And for those who don't know what that is, it was an event in history that was a little bit of a precursor in a way to the events of the Holocaust. And so next Shabbat in the morning, I will be doing a few special pieces of music that will be in commemoration for Kristallnacht, so just different melodies to use for some of the prayers. I'm not going to change too much, don't worry, you'll still be able to sing along with everything. And we'll also talk a little bit about Kristallnacht during the service as well. At this time, I would like to ask everyone to turn a little bit ahead into the Siddur so that we can conclude with Adon Olam this evening. We have so many kids here this evening, I think it's best we do Adon Olam. So let's turn to page 211 in the Siddur. I'm going to ask everybody, please come back up this way. Adon olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra le'et nasa b'chefso kol azay melech shemo nikra Adon olam ve'acharei kichlot hakol levado yimloch nora Adon olam vehu hayam vehu hoved Vehu hiye betifara Adon olam, asher malach, b'terem kol, yitzir nivra le'et nasa, b'chefso kol, azay melech shemo nikra Adon olam, vehu echad ve'ein sheni, lehamshilo le'achvira Adon olam, ve'li reishit, Beli tachlit, velo haoz v'hamisra Adon olam, asher malach, b'terem kol, yitzir nivra le'et nasa, b'chefso kol, azay melech shemo nikra Adon olam, vehu eli, v'chai goali, v'tzorchev li be'et sara Adon olam, Vehu nisim umanoslim menat kosi beyom ekra Adon olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra le'et nasa b'chefso kol azay melech shemo nikra Adon olam beyado avkid ruchi Be'et ishan ve'amira Adon olam ve'im ruchi geviati Adonai li ve'lo ira Adon olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra le'et nasa b'chefso kol azay melech shemo nikra Adon olam. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Please join us downstairs for Oneg. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom.